Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Anime Lost Translation. I'm your host, Arthur. Once again, I have Ben with me. How are you doing today, Ben? I'm good. Just another Monday morning. So today we're not going to talk about a specific show per se. We're not going to talk about what we watched or what we're going to watch. But today we're going to talk about Ben. Ben is going to have the floor today. He's going to talk about the shows that got him into anime, what types of shows that he watches, and his favorite genre. And let me tell you, it's a doozy. Ben, go ahead and start us.
Yeah. So just going really into what started it all for me. You just gotta think back. As a kid, I grew up not even realizing it was anime. Was Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Digimon. I mean, that. Oh yeah, that had to have been the start of at least a lot of people my age because Pokemon is like it's the goat. It really is. It's been going on since when the show start? 99?
Yeah, I think that's the one that I think the end of the league is like 98, 99.
Yeah, just think about that. And then we had originally Yu-Gi-Oh! They didn't follow any of the rules of the card game, but the show slapped so hard.
Right, and I think before we go into much detail, one of the shows that we might end up covering eventually down the line is like you see like a drastic tone from the manga to the show because the manga is dark. The manga is absolutely dark. People actually die from the manga, and there's like weird darker games on the manga in comparison. Yu-Gi-Oh kind of is watered down in the anime version.
So, you start growing up a little bit, you see Toonami come up, you see Naruto, you see One Piece that we just refuse to ever watch.
That is a lot of Cardinal Bears. And the thing is like, and if you want to like One Piece, you have to watch the live action. Just saying.
Dude, I'm not doing that.
Okay. Okay, okay. Well, that's fine. So we're not gonna have enough material to go on this podcast. Then let's find a way.
We don't watch One Piece in here.
Don't let me even spin my coffee, man. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
And then it comes truly into like really realizing what anime is like, because of course I would watch Naruto and stuff, didn't really realize it, but Bleach is like I remember Saturdays on Adult Swim back in the days, they would show 2 hours of Bleach, one recap episode, then 3 brand new episodes. Oh my god, I waited up every Saturday for that just because I knew how good the show was. It was always a disappointment because they stopped at like episode, what was it, 364? I think it was, maybe? They stopped there for a year, that 10-year hiatus, which was 100% heartbreaking. I would check it like every 3 years to see if it was coming back, and they kept saying no, and they finally announced the 1,000-year Blood War. It's lit.
Yeah, I think like that's one of the shows that is like in the back of my mind. I will eventually watch it. There's like a few shows that are like I'm just trying different genres and different things. Yeah, that's like one of the Bleach, and I think I thought about watching either Black Clover and Fairy Tail at some point, and I started watching Gintama a while back. But don't get me wrong, I do like comedy on a show, but when you don't have a linear story for me, it falls off for me. So I think that's the problem, and I'll probably get flame for this. Cowboy Bebop, one aspect I don't like is if it is it's not serialized. They said it gets better towards like middle to the end, but I don't like the whole episodic, Monster of the Week kind of shows. I like it just like, hey, there's a story from point A to point B.
Makes sense, yeah.
Put it like on the conversation is Dragon Ball Z does have a kind of a linear story that repeats itself. I don't know if we're going to touch on this podcast. Probably not, because there's so much filler. I'm not against like death on the main character, but when the main character dies like 7 or 8 times, and then he becomes stronger and there's no consequences.
Yeah, but
So because yeah, it's like it still makes no sense. And I think like I'm not sure about Bleach. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's more of a linear story to it. Even though I think at when it first was coming out it was 2014 or so, and I think
the show I think started in '99 or
let's take a look. So it started in '04. It ran for 8 years. Stopped at 2012.
Yeah, content manga, and then they just were like, nope.
Right, that's the thing. And that's the problem with a lot of shows. For like, who I'll give an example is like Full Metal. They had to do two because one adapts more to the manga than the first one. Because
Yeah,
the first one,
they went off script a lot with Full Metal before they made Brotherhood.
you're not having a lot of fillers because the manga wasn't completed. And most of the time, filler episodes could do two things to the show. You could prolong your pain or completely. I don't want to say like enhances the quality of the show. I think sometimes it degrades it. I don't see the point in fillers. I like shows that are just like, okay, you might have 2 or 3 episodes that are fillers that ties the whole story together. But if you're gonna be like One Piece, sorry to One Piece. I mean, we're so very small podcast, so like a lot of people are not gonna listen to this. But in the future, if people listen to this, I'm sorry. Filler episodes does not make a show better. In the case for One Piece, what's the point of introducing a character in episode 500 and you don't see that character for another 300 episodes? Because then you forget what character he is. For what it's worth, even though I know it was one of your favorite shows, man, Bleach, going back to Bleach is the fact that I think it ran its corners. Even though there's more story to tell, an 8 year run for an anime without no pause in between is pretty decent. You would think.
Yeah, but they had their filler arc, which, like you're saying, can really kill the show. I do not like the fillers. Like the Bound arc is they fought vampires. Not good. Not good.
So he went to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Oh my god, he fought Gio?
I hate you.
Oh, come on. You know I had to do a JoJo.
So JoJo, watched the first episode. So they burned the dog in the furnace, and I was like, I'm never watching another episode.
Yeah, that's probably the reason why I'm not. And there's my honest opinion about another show is Full Metal Brotherhood. The girl and the dog fusing.
Yeah, that was not a good episode.
I think that's the fucked up to say the least.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And the things like I said, I am not watching that show because of that alone. And the second thing, and I did a bad JoJo reference joke, and I'm like an anti JoJo person as well. There's one reason, not because of the dog. I knew about the dog. The reason is the fact that I don't like the certain show animation. I do not like it. The rigid, like too masculine that says or whatever he's saying. I don't know. I know it's a meme and stuff like that. But yeah, but JoJo, like, I don't like the way they do the characters. Yeah, very Renaissance kind of thing. And like the type of animation that I like, the rigid old school 90s animation, or like the beginning of Pokemon, like Bleach has that kind of animation, Naruto, Full Metal, and so forth. Right. It doesn't deviate from me not liking newer shows. For instance, like JJK, the animation is great, is done well, but it's not like a harsh drawing. Like Villain Saga, same way. I don't like when it gets away from the origins. It forgets that is like a Japanese animation. It becomes too westernized, if that makes sense.
Yeah. One thing when it comes to animation, I don't think animation makes a show because a
What?
lot of people, whenever like Demon Slayer came out,
All right,
they made
here's,
no, when Demon Slayer came out, they didn't talk about the characters. They didn't talk about how good the show was. They didn't talk about the story. Only reason why people originally kept telling me to watch it was because of how good the animation was.
right, and that's the thing. I think for you, the two reasons why I made it experience bad is because somebody that watches Bleach or Pokemon, there's a more depth to the characters themselves. Even though we, in the previous episode, stated how Ash is a so and so main character.
Yeah,
It,
because they all
it was practically the resets. It's not a linear story with Pokemon. But yeah, we're doing a Pokemon series, but we're going more in depth about the show and how it goes from point A to point B to point C, but sometimes it goes from point C back to point A, which makes no sense. You should be continuously growing, learning how to do your Pokemons properly and all that stuff. But the point that I was trying to make, the two things that I made Demon Slayer bearable and unwatchable for you, then per se, was the lack of development with the main characters in the first 13 episodes, because there's not a lot of development in the beginning, but we're seeing more like as the show progresses, but you want to see some type of growth by the beginning of season one to the end of season one. And we talked about this a little bit. We went a little bit more in depth. It is the fact that those are the kind of shows that you have to watch it in Japanese with subtitles because the English one was not there in terms
yeah.
of character wise. And we talked about Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone was like, does such an amazing job with the dubbing that I think the dubbing is superior to the sub.
Mm-hmm.
But Demon Slayer lacks in those terms because it takes away from you trying to enjoy the show because the character is not very likable to begin with. Yeah, he's going through some trauma, but at the same time, is he gonna do some growth within that first season? I, uh, I
Dumbest sister is.
well, like I said, that's why I was kind of like saying, but for a lot of people to say that a show it's only lit by its animation is kind of bonkers. Is the same thing with other shows now. Another show that people talk about the animation stuff, and we were talking about a little bit before we started, was JJK. Brilliant animation, especially season two. I'm not going to spoil anything for you because you haven't seen it. It's not just built on that. It takes a while to get the characters going on these Slayer. Don't get me wrong, it took me a while to start watching the show too. But funny enough, because I was watching the show and I didn't even give a chance to hear it in dub. I straight out started in sub.
Yeah.
Because I heard like 5 seconds of it and I was like, I'm not dealing with this. Because this is like a little off topic, but at the same time, I have an issue with the characters that are just like nasally and all that stuff. And another problem that I have with shows, and I think that's going back to what do you enjoy with shows, is the fact that Bleach, I don't think the main character takes himself too seriously.
You don't think Ichigo takes himself too seriously?
Was it?
You said in Bleach?
Well, I think like the problem that I have with a lot of shows nowadays is the fact that the MC takes himself too seriously. Everything is life and death, but I'm not sure. I'm saying this from clips that I've seen of Bleach. I don't think Ichigo takes himself too seriously.
I get that because he's only 15 when the show originally started.
I don't think over 15, Jesus Christ.
And once he starts, like, he's that kind of guy in the school who doesn't really give a fuck. He doesn't really care. He has a few friends and people like him, but he's kind of go with the flow. But if he sees somebody messing with his friends, he's obviously gonna step in. It shows him do that multiple times. Like when Chad was getting bullied and shit because they look different. Um, So like he's kind of he's kind of like a I don't care kind of person. So yeah, he doesn't really take it so seriously. But once he like gets his powers and starts trying to protect his family or like going to save Rukia and the Soul Society, when he has to go to with like he does get pretty serious about it. But it's more about like helping his friend, saving his family, saving his friends like Orihime, and just like that kind of thing. It's more like while he didn't care at first, he's definitely became like a major protector.
But at the same time, it's not like he's going from one extreme to the other. You know what I'm saying? Because I hate characters, and there's one in particular that comes to mind. Eren Jr. from Attack on Titan, the greatest MC ever, of the greatest show ever created. As you can tell my sarcasm. Um, but here's the thing. Here's the problem that I have that I gave Bleach its flowers. That one thing that it did better than Attack on Titan is the fact that it was a continuous film. And when we were needed to stop for a while, it stopped. It came back about 10 years after. That's fine. But at the same time, it wouldn't have like times in between seasons. And that I think that's like a killer for a show as well. I mean, we talked about earlier how fillers are killers. Fillers are killers. Yes.
Yeah,
But when you stop and go with a show, it makes it hard for somebody to follow.
season 4, part 1, part 2, part 3. Here's the movie part. Damn, that really did happen. That took forever for Attack on
Right,
Titan.
right. So, but going back to that, it's like almost 10 years. But it was 10 years consecutively? No, because it took breaks in between. What Bleach does that yeah, there are going to be consequences on the world of Bleach, but at the same time, you don't have to be a hater of the world and then you become what you hate. And that's like kind of the issue with Attack on Titan. And you see a lot of that with other shows too, like Tokyo was an example of that. Because you hate bulls, but you become one. You become what you hate. And that's what Attack on Titan does. And to me, I don't think that's a lot of developing the inner character itself. Yeah, you can be a protector of the people that you love. Yes, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but at the same time, don't be like an emo kid and then be more of an emo kid.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. Like at first, like I really liked Attack on Titan. Then season 2 came out, and it fell off for me, and I finally picked it back up with season 3 and season 4. I mean, Aaron was really good. It was kind of whiny. It's interesting because, well, have you actually finished it?
Well, let's be honest. That's another conversation for another time. So no one. I'm not saying anything right now. Go ahead.
So a lot of things happen. Um, like I don't really want to like say anything specific, but it's very interesting how his character evolves and like the reason why, like how it happens, because it goes into it and like it was like all kind of set in stone.
Right.
So it's interesting how they do that. Like the Easter eggs, like after you find out what it was, when you go back and like look through the show, you actually see some things out like, oh my god, wow, like they were actually like leading up to this from like the very beginning. And so like the way you see Aaron's character, like from the outside, yeah, it's pretty bad. But if you like actually watch the show, you'll see like how everything evolved and how interesting it is. I think at the end they ended the show kind of how they showed him in a certain light was not good because it kind of showed him a little bit pathetic, but of course the reasons why he did everything kind of make up for it. Um but I can see what you mean, like because like turning into the thing you hate, like within like 5 episodes he was already a Titan. The thing literally, which was his whole thing was I want to kill all the Titans. Like I can get what you mean on that, but like I would definitely recommend watching it just because you'll see like what his character goes through and like the certain things that actually make it to why things happened. if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. The thing is, instead, like, fillers are killers. I think it might be like a tagline on the show, but the issue with Attack on Titan, I think it would have helped if there's more episodes leading to that, instead of just being like, okay, we're done and all that stuff. And like a fifth of the season, he's already a Titan, and my issue.
One of the big things of the show of the first few seasons was trying to figure out like how he became a Titan in the first place.
Okay.
And like how he got the ability, which like the whole thing at first was them trying to get back to his childhood home to get into the basement because of the key he had. And it goes into like how he becomes a Titan. It goes into his family history a little bit. It goes into really why the Titans are around and like how it's all happening. So while it doesn't explain it at the beginning, because at the beginning, you're the first episode is the Colossal Titan, and then like they go to training. He's in training for a few episodes, and then they go back. He becomes part of the scout regiment, and basically, the city, the wall gets taken down by the armor titan and the colossal titan again. They're fighting that, and like that's when he becomes the titan for the first time. And yeah, that all happens within like the first 4 or 5 episodes, and it doesn't really explain like how he became the titan. But the fact that's literally the whole point of the first few seasons is figuring out why, trying to like see like how this affects like humanity, how it affects their people, because right now I can't remember what they're called. It shows like their bloodline and all that. Like it really it goes pretty deep into it throughout the show. It is kind of annoying that it doesn't go into it at the beginning, but they did that to like help draw you in some, because like it had a banger opening theme song. One of the best opening theme songs. Attack on Titan season 1. Fucking slaps. That gets you to wanting to watch it. But then, like I said, those first few episodes go pretty fast, but it draws you in because, like, his like the training montage, showing him how to use all his gear, like showing like what the Titans do, how you're supposed to kill the Titans. It draws you in, and then at that point, you figure out that he is a Titan, and then it just, I don't want to say it spirals from there, but it goes from there, and that's where it really like gets your attention and explains things.
Like I said, I have my things towards the show. I think the one point that I was trying to make is the fact that if it was like a continuous run, I think that would have helped the show a little bit better. I think people would have gotten as tired as towards the end, because they just dragged their feet towards the end. It bothers me a little bit, because you can say that they were on the run for 10 years, but they were not really, because they couldn't even get 100 episodes. Because season 1 started originally in 2013.
Yeah.
And I completely understand how you fell off, because the second season did not come out for another 4 years.
Yeah, and then like they started showing dinosaurs in the opening theme song, and I was real confused.
But that's the thing. It's just like,
I don't remember seeing any dinosaurs in the show. Is all I'm saying.
right. I mean, spoiler alert, there's no dinosaurs in Attack on Titan. But the thing is, like, I like it, and that's one interesting thing is, like, you don't change the whole dynamic of the OP in order to countability your brains, but yeah, I understand that. But it's also the whole idea that if the show stayed like on air from 2013, maybe by 2017 or 2019, instead of taking all these breaks, maybe that would have facilitated for everybody, like, why is the show not done? Because I think it dragged like its feet like big time. And it became like a meme and a joke that Attack on Titan finale part 1 of 5. It became like Lord of the Rings, but the last walking. I think that's probably like one of the things that I didn't like about the show, and also the fact that, like I was talking about JoJo earlier, how the animation just kind of like irks me a little bit. I would say the same thing when Attack on Titan. Like I said, I like older, maybe because I'm older. I don't know. It's like, but I do like good animation. But I
Calm
don't.
down, Grandpa.
Okay, I know. I'm not exactly sure what it is.
I would recommend giving it a chance, like if you're able to, just because
Yeah.
it it really is good. Like a lot of people like act like it's the best anime of all time. I am not putting it there. I don't. It's definitely not one of the best. But it's genuinely really really good. The story is really good. The animation near the end can get a little wild because it kind of had that movie animation where like a lot of shit goes down. So it's like a
Right.
little.
That's the problem with a lot of shows. But the thing is, I think that the same faith, I think Attack on Titan, going from one studio to the other, kind of propels it to be greater than it is because it was also by Wit Studio. The Villain Saga season one. It was Dead Spy Family, Ranking of Kings, and stuff like that. But they went from Wit to Mappa. So Mappa picked them up on season four. I don't understand how it goes from that studio to the other studio. That's another conversation. Maybe it's like contracts and stuff like that. I just find it interesting because Mappa can make a show very busy when they are doing the show, like JJK, Chainsaw, and all that stuff. So I think you see that, like you said, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's because it's not the same studio. Maybe they wanted to have all the details and nuances of the show. Sometimes the screen is too busy. Just concentrate on what's going on. Maybe that also plays into it. I really can't explain. And I don't know, and it's the second show from Red that close to Mappa. To be honest, Villain Saga season one with Red, it's actually not that bad. It's actually pretty decent, but you can tell like Mappa just goes hard on stuff, and sometimes it's kind of like, we're going hard for certain shows. You're not going hard for every show.
Yeah, of course.
Um, yeah. What? I know. So we kind of went on different tangents, but we're talking about shows that you enjoy. We know clearly that Ben is a Attack on Titan lover.
Okay.
Uh, well,
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I would say like I mean, it's like a small summary, but you like Attack on Titan. You are definitely a Bleach fan, and from the beginning until. Uh, it's my time to calm down. Calm down. Okay?
The next season, Thousand Year Blood War. I'm sure. I am saying that right now. It should have been out already. I've been waiting for a goddamn while, but it's still not here.
Well, I think I don't think that's going to be an issue. You would say you're, I don't think it's show that we talked about, but I would say you're probably a Naruto fan. Um,
Naruto Shippuden. I really tried to get into Boruto. I watched like 10 episodes. I know I need to continue it because I want to see what happens. I've seen some stuff. It gets crazy, but I haven't been able to do that one yet. But Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, love them. Seen every episode. I'm sick of fillers.
yeah, that's the thing. I think that's the other show that I think that's I don't know. It's so heartbreaking when the show is so good and or the idea of the world building and all that stuff is so genuine
But like,
interesting.
but like the original Naruto series, the last like 100 episodes were just all fillers.
Right, and that's the thing. It just it becomes apparent that we're not fans of fillers. It's unfortunate for a show to be such a regard for a lot of people to be up there in terms of being ideal show to for any beginner like of anime.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
It's a grind for you to get through the filler. Sometimes you have to find a good filler. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with looking up a list to see what's filler and skipping it. I'm saying that right now. I do that now. Like if I rewatch Naruto or something, I will definitely look up a filler list so I don't watch it. Um, if you do end up ever having to watch any fillers in any Naruto series, there is one that says Kakashi's face in Shippuden. So I always recommend that because it's Kakashi's face. Uh, but yeah, a lot of fillers you don't need to watch. It doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah, that's the thing is Naruto and Bleach, I'll put them in the same category right now. If they minimize the amount of fillers that the show would have, I think it would put in a better ranking for a lot of people's animes. Because I think the filler just takes away the thrill and the joy that you're watching.
yeah, I feel that because like, just going back to Bleach for a second. Bleach, they didn't do filler episodes. They did filler arcs.
Well, that's even worse. That's even worse.
Yeah, arc. It was. I say that. It was amazing, amazing filler arc. Though. Unfortunately, it was in the middle of the war. They just fucking stopped the war just to do this fucking filler arc, which pissed me off. But the Zanpakutos Toes came alive. Basically, their sword spirits came alive, and that one. That was an amazing filler arc. That one, that's worth watching. I would say if you're gonna watch any filler arc, go and watch that one. But the fact that it's filler arcs and not just one-off episodes, it just kills me inside.
Well, and that's part of my issue with Gintama per se. I don't mind comedy on an anime. It's to me, like a lot of the shows that I watch does have like a slide of comedy and stuff like that. Like Yu Hakusho, the main character is a goofball, but at the same time, he can like turn that switch and then fight for what he believes in and all that stuff. Even My Heroes, there's comedy to it. Even with the villains, tidbits of the relationship with the characters and them building that relationship. There's comic relief, even when Shigaraki is killing people. There's actually a pretty funny scene the latest season when he comes back when he's like on the got his powers. I think is the end of season 5 or 6. It's the end of the arc of season. Not sure.
It started at the end of season 5, I think, but then season 6 is when he was like in the stasis to like get his powers, and they attacked like the villains and everything.
Right, I think it's the first arc of season 6. That's right. Yeah, end of season 5, beginning of season 6, he's on that tube with the water, and he's getting more power or something like that. The heroes go to the sacred hideout, and they destroy everything, and he like wakes up, and then there's this hero that just fucking dumbass. He's not moving at all, and then Shigaraki just like comes back from the like electric jolt, just makes him come back from life, and then he just decay on the guy.
Yeah,
and he grabs it, and then grabs it. Yeah, he fucking so that scene is so fire. Shigaraki, the way he fucking annihilates everybody. But anyways, my point is like he just touches the guy's like, and he gets escape, and he's like, all he says is like, "I'm cold." After shooting a guy, and I'm like, that show made me laugh. The way it's done. So, like, for instance, like there was like a lot of comedy with My Hero, even from the villains. But I think Gintama takes it too far. To me, I know it gets serious, but I'm sorry, I'm not gonna watch 56 episodes, especially I know it's supposed to be parody, but you know what I mean, right? It takes a while to get there. I think it becomes like more of a gag manga. To me, just there needs to be more depth to it for me to be invested in it. It because the show itself is like gag, 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 instead of like, oh, there's more. I know the characters get serious when shit hits the fan and all that stuff, but it takes a while. And like my point earlier on, when you have characters that take themselves too seriously, like Ichigo is not that type of character that's going to be like, hey, don't really take things seriously right now, but I can turn the switch and become serious. I'll use Yusuke or Imesh is the same way. You can turn that idea that you don't need to be serious all the time, and you don't need to be full comedy all the time.
Yeah.
I think it's just the problem that sometimes you just have too much, too little. And one character that I think takes himself too seriously, Kirito from Sword Art Online. I think he takes the role too seriously. He takes everything too seriously. It's just like,
There's not a lot of comedy in the show when it comes to SAO. I mean, there's a little bit with like characters like Klein who are pretty funny, but yeah, there's not a lot of comedy, and especially when it comes to Kirito, because he really is pretty serious most of the time about just about everything he does. The only time where you really see him like relax and just enjoy himself is when he finally gets together with Asuna. But even then, it's not really comedy at that point. I feel like they're just because they're like when they get together, they're like go to the cabin and they spend like an episode or two there, and it's kind of at that point. I guess like those episodes would fall under like what is it like a slice of life.
Jesus Christ.
I think that's what it is. I don't know. I don't watch slice of life animes. I'm not. Yeah.
See, Adam, not everybody likes slice of anime.
That would be like closest. But yeah, there's not really any comedy to it, so I could see that. I mean, it's still a good show, even if he is a little too serious. But you also gotta think like they're trapped in the video game where if you die, like you're really dead. So it kind of makes sense why he's being pretty serious about it, especially at the beginning, just like deciding to be a lone wolf and not really team up with anybody. Like, I mean, he saw one of his guilds die. He like he's seen people that he's cared about dying, so like it makes sense why he's doing it. But like some of a little bit of comedy would have been a lot.
Yeah, I think I'm not saying like you need to be like a clown every 5 seconds like that. I'm not saying that. You need to have a happy medium between stuff. It's kind of like, um, this has nothing to do with anime, but at the same time, it's like when we met, if I was serious all the time, giving directions for stuff to be done, we wouldn't be having this podcast years later.
So you're just flexing that you used to be my boss, huh?
You know what I mean, though, right? Um, if I wasn't like, have like goofy moments or you telling me to, relax, we wouldn't be having this. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
for
You,
sure.
it's the same way goes to you. Like, so how many times, like, we just have to laugh about this. You have to have that lightness in your life. You don't need to be, like, in a dark place all the fucking time.
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree.
But going back to one of my first questions in the beginning of this episode. So, by you liking Bleach, Naruto, Attack on Titan, and shows like My Hero, I think that's a big one that you enjoy. I would say that mainly your archetypes of shows would be a shonen type. Is that am I
Shonen
shonen?
type, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, shonen action kind of things. Like that's really what I prefer. I'm not really like into like lovey-dovey stuff or like kind of stuff like that. Like I watched one episode of the Orion's Host Club
Okay.
and it made me want to kill myself.
Okay.
It was not for me, and I'm definitely not gonna watch your weird hentai food show. Um,
Hey, it's not a hentai, but okay.
uh-huh. Sure, whatever you say.
Oh my god. Oh, like I don't feel like on a t-shirt. I'm not gonna watch that hentai show, but don't say the show.
You know, show it. You know, show it is. You knew instant.
No, I'm just looking at someone. Hentai show. Like so many things, man. Go on.
Yeah, it would definitely be shonen would be my favorite. Like, I would have to say that's for a fact. Like, because like even now, like Black Clover, I thought was really good. Even if Asta could be a little bit annoying, because like if I heard somebody yell "because you're my rival" one more time, I would want to kill myself.
But that's the
Uh,
thing. It's like it's funny. I don't mean to cut you off, but how he says that, but that's something that you hear all the time in Pokemon with in the original series with Ash. But I don't think it's per se. He's like,
think you understand. In Black Clover, every single person says this.
oh my
Every
god,
single person. Asta has like 70 rivals at this point.
oh Jesus Christ.
It's every fucking character. And they're like, I'm not gonna lose because he's my rival, and it just keeps going and going and going. And I'm like, the show is so good, but I don't want to hear this one more time.
That could be annoying.
It's like the Naruto is Ninja Way kind of thing, or like him showing the goddamn swing again. It happens so often, but that hits you right in the feels sometimes. While this one is just, he's my rival, he's my rival, he's my rival. It's just like, bro, come on.
Yeah, I think that would be annoying for anybody. Dude, you're not really your rival. You should just have a character just by whatever. No.
A lot of them are like strong characters that want to rival Austin, like they want to rival each other so they can do better. Because but come on, obviously he has his main rival, that's the dude he grew up with. That's the guy that he's like been competing against his entire life. That's his best friend. And then there's the people on his squad and team. What is it? It's not Magical Squad. His Magic Knights. It's his Magic Knight squad. And he has people from other squads that are rivaling him. He has people from other areas that are rivaling him. The fucking captains are telling him that he's their rival now. It is every fucking character is Asuka's rival. Does not matter who it is. Does not matter how powerful it is. They're like, he's my rival. I'm gonna be better than him. And it's just like, I get it. This helps with character development. It helps show that they're getting stronger. But like, bruh. Come on.
I don't mean to laugh, but I probably would feel the same way if I watched it. I'm like,
It's a good show. The movie slapped. It is good. I'm telling you right now. Asa can be a little annoying. Show's really good. But like, come on. And
yeah,
Noelle is good. She's like the main chick of the show, but she kind of gives Iris vibes from Black and White a little bit. Like,
oh,
yeah,
oh, boy. Oh,
yeah.
oh,
She's better than Iris. She's way better than Iris. She actually has character development. You actually see her get stronger and better, but she still has a rich attitude. Everybody's beneath her, and like she basically does such a good thing. So it's just like, come on, come on.
yeah. For somebody that enjoys shonen like you, man, that's why like I do recommend JJ. I know it's hard for you, and we talked about it in the beginning of the episode, but you should just give Demon Slayer a second chance. I know there's characters and all this stuff that you don't like. That's fine. We're always
Good
gonna
big
have to.
open demon sleep.
Oh, oh my god. We're never gonna get canceled for this podcast for other reasons, but he's gonna get canceled for Demon Slayer. I'll get canceled for One Piece. The list is long for me. JoJo, yeah. Order. Yeah, I'm not doing that. But the thing is, like, I feel like I do recommend shows for you to watch it. You can watch Chainsaw Man, even though it's like kind of like people already spoil that shit for me. So I'm like, what's the point? I don't know. That one is a little hard for me to explain it because I don't think the author itself knows where the source is, which can be a problem because, well, spoiler, something happens with the main villain. Okay, it sucks.
Thanks for spoiling.
Yeah, yeah. But I just don't know necessarily where it's going with the story. But yeah, there's a lot of like shows out there, a lot of other shows that are coming out that are going to be shonen based. I do recommend Vinland Saga season one. And then season two kind of is just a different aspect to the story, per se. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit of shows out there that I do recommend you show for you. You haven't watched it yet. I'll probably force you to watch it in this podcast.
You tried to force me to watch it like 3 years ago.
I know, but the thing is, like, eventually we're probably going to talk about some live shows here shortly. We're not going to talk about One Piece. I don't think that I'm because I'm going to be even more extra confused. It's funny because a lot of us, like in this podcast, made an oath to not watch One Piece.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Even with anime and Kasama before, I don't know. No,
Wait, Adam doesn't watch One Piece?
I don't think so. And I think we dropped the manga too.
Didn't
Yeah.
know he watched it. That's crazy.
And then Kasama was like, not rewatching that. And I'm pretty sure that people that are part of this podcast haven't watched One Piece, so they don't intend to watch One Piece. It's too much. It's kind of like those shows that suffers a lot fillers, and they're like, oh, but you can read the manga. I'm like, I don't have time to read uh the mangas. I mean,
I didn't know you knew how to read.
yeah, yeah, I know how to read like two languages.
I don't believe that.
I can barely speak it now, man. It's kind of getting sad now.
You said you can't speak it anymore?
Well, I'm kind of losing it because I was speaking with my mom.
Okay, yeah.
I still read it though. I don't listen to it as much. Anyways, Jesus Christ! I was just looking at One Piece. How many volumes there is? There's 108.
Yeah.
It's been around since probably before you were born.
Wow. Wow.
You're like in your late 20s, right, Bon?
When did it start?
You're in your late 20s, right, Bon?
Yeah. Mid to late 20s.
No, you weren't even born, I don't think.
When did it start? You haven't been there, right?
97.
I'm older. Fuck you.
How did you have to give the benefit of the doubt, Ben? Jesus Christ. Well, you were born in 95?
96. Had to think about it for a second.
That's funny. Oh, holy shit. Oh my god. I'm not sure you're 20, right?
Yeah, I'm 26 now. I'll be 28 later on this year.
In October.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I'm not sure in your early 20s, right? Like early 20s?
Yeah.
Fuck.
You in 2015.
Holy.
I was in 19. No. Okay, hold on. I was. It was. I started 2 days after my 19th birthday.
Holy shit. And we
Yeah.
met like probably not too long after, right?
What's that?
We met not too long after, right?
We met 2 days after my 19th birthday because they sent me out to help you zone.
Oh my holy shit. Holy fuck.
I know. How old are you now? 47.
Holy shut up. No, if you actually see me now, dude, I do not look my age.
Nice. You looking younger or older?
I'm younger. Well,
Nice.
well, I mean, I just turned 40 last year.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you were 19, so 8 years ago? Eight, nine, yeah, 8 years is gonna be 9. Holy
Yeah.
fuck.
I know.
He's
That's
kind of,
crazy.
because I think I met you on I was like 31? Holy shit. 30, 31?
Time flies, dog.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, that was a little nostalgia. That was a little tension on it, man. But we're like, I was seeing an age right now. But the point that I don't know what point I was trying to make, but whatever. It doesn't really matter at this point. One Piece just. Yeah. Uh, too many fillers, too many fillers. Yeah. Too many fillers, been around too many times. Yeah, I mean, that's the, one of the shows that we won't touch on this podcast. So
I like how you said that, but we mentioned everything.
it's funny, but he's doing the going joke. But it's kind of like we did the Food Wars joke, we did the World Peace joke. Um, we talk about the reset of Pokemon. Hey, we're building a library of stuff.
Oh ready for the Pokemon episodes.
But yeah, I think that practically does it for this episode. I don't think we have anything else to add to it. This practically was just like Ben talking about what got him into Pokemon, how got him to anime. Of course, you have to mention the OGs, the goats, and those eyes. Huh?
Respect on the names.
Yeah, I mean, we can take away what Pokemon, Digimon, and those other early shows done to the genre, Yu-Gi-Oh's.
This
Um,
might have been controversial.
yeah.
Was better than the original dubbed the last season breaks my heart because the last season of GX is still they never dubbed it, and Jaden was amazing. Kills me on the inside. It really does, because like he turned like fucking evil in the last season or whatever. I don't know. It was crazy. I wish they finished dubbing it so bad.
Yeah, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Digimon, all those OG shows for Ben. Yeah, and I think it got a lot of people started on anime, to be quite honest.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people, it's funny. It's a funny thing that I hear a lot is the fact that it's like, oh, I didn't know Pokemon was anime. It's like, no, you nuts. Uh, it is anime. Is a
It's funny
different.
how much a lot of people don't realize that it's anime.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Is like it is anime. The other thing that it's interesting to say the least is that you enjoy a lot of shows that are considered to be top tiers for a lot of people to this day. Thing that I see a lot of people now leaning towards Bleach so much is the filler arcs. Like you were saying earlier, Naruto for all its fillers, but people still consider it to be the OGs for them, to be the goats for them as well. Hey,
Two are loved here. One's considered gay.
I
I
said,
said, I said two of the big three are loved here, Naruto and Bleach, but
yeah, that is true. And to me, I don't know. It's those shows are great in their own ways. Don't get me wrong. Probably One Piece has something good about it. I'm not really sure what it is. I think it's probably for the waifus, but that's another subject for another time. We're not talking about that. And yeah, I
no, let's
mean,
do it for the waifu episodes.
we're not gonna go live through that. So we'll just you're gonna be here for the slice of life episodes. But anyways, that about does it for me. I think it does it for Ben as well. You can listen to us on Anime and Lost Translation on Spotify and on other places that you listen to your favorite podcasts. You also can give us suggestions. I check the emails almost every day. Sometimes I don't. But anyways, Anime Lost Translation at gmail.com. And if you want to follow us on X or Twitter, it is Anime LT Pod and Twitter or X. I think that does it. We'll hear from you guys soon.